Well, hello there. My name is Dave Bila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views, broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of the comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its co-producers. We will hear broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press, which I take personally, will either be muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of its co-producers is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the discussion, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something nice. Okay, something nice. The 157th season of the Michigan City Municipal Band will start Thursday, the 5th of June. Wow. At Washington Park at the Guy Foreman Amphitheater. Now, if you don't have your park sticker, you still have a few days until the 5th to be able to get into these concerts free of charge, because I do see that the park department already has yellow vested people standing at the gate, but I was able to get in because I showed my certificate of my vehicle that I was going to get my park sticker, so they let me through. But they are started. The band concert starts at 7:30 at the Guy Foreman Amphitheater, 157th season, and it's something to look forward to, because if there are any other things going on in Michigan City, this is good news, gentlemen.
Well, I guess I can start it next. Again, I want to put in a plug for Visit Michigan City LaPorte. It's the 2025 Visitor's Guide put out by our Tourist Bureau. For those of you that are looking for things to do in the city, both for your children and for adults, feel free to get a copy of this at the Visitors Bureau or in a restaurant. Many of the restaurants will have them outside as you walk out. And you can walk through here, you're going to find something to do certainly every week, and sometimes 3 or 4 days out of every week. Now there's another one out that is put out by the LaPorte County Herald-Dispatch, which is the local newspaper, but it concentrates A, on LaPorte County, but B, on Berrien County and a number of other areas. So if you're looking to travel a little bit and you're interested in restaurants, this might be the one that you want to take a look at. Either way, if summer is coming, in Michigan City, as we all know, is a great place in the summertime. Now, I also brought along a copy of the Herald-Dispatch that deals with the wage data in Michigan City and LaPorte County that we've been talking about for several months, and the fact that our per capita income, both in LaPorte County and in Michigan City, is significantly below that of the surrounding counties, and by that I mean Lake County, Porter County, and St. Joe County. For those of you that are new and may not recognize where these are, Lake County is the farthest to the east of us. It includes the cities of Hammond, Gary, East Chicago,
to the
Crown
west.
Point.
To the west.
To the west, I'm sorry.
To the west.
Yeah, it's to the west. Porter County is also to the west of us. It's between us and Lake County. The big cities there would be Valparaiso and Chesterton, and Porter and Portage. Portage, I think, is bigger than Michigan City in terms of its size. Valpo is right about the same size we are, but they have significantly higher per capita incomes for a number of reasons. To the east of us is St. Joe County. The big cities there are going to be South Bend and Mishawaka. Our problem is, if you go through this article, they talk about just how bad it is in terms of living in LaPorte County for a family of 4. You need approximately $77,000 a year. Right now, there's a lot of families of 4 that are trying to live on half that amount. Very difficult. In addition to that, we have a number of people that are single or just staying out of the marriage situation because they can't afford to get married and to have kids. So as a result of that, this is one of the reasons our population is not growing. Another reason is people are moving out because they can get paid better in other areas. I always use as an example the situation with the Westvale prison in terms of journeyman electricians. We have over 800 journeyman electricians working at that prison in Westville. to build a new prison. Why didn't we have in LaPorte County anywhere near enough electricians to supply that situation? They are coming from Texas, California, Maine, and a number of other places to work there. And they are probably making well over $100,000. We need to get people trained to be able to do that. And our school system just has not been able to handle that kind of a mission. We have so many people that are down below the poverty level, part of which is because of education. Well, I probably will refer to this from time to time as we go through. But in Mississippi, of all places, they had a real problem. They were 49th out of 50 states. They have now moved up into the top 25. They did this over a period of 5 years. Anybody got any idea of how they did it? Well, I'm going to tell you two concepts that I found out about. I only knew about the first one, which is phonics, and I really don't know anything about phonics except I can spell it. But they are starting this. They started their program at the 4th grade level. I think they've now moved it down to the 1st grade level to teach these kids to read and do math. Now the other situation they have, I can talk a lot about those, are called flashcards. And they are operating, I guess, starting about the 5th or 6th grade to teach kids to make flashcards. Flashcards really work. I had 750 of them when I took the CPA exam. I had about 2,000 of them when I passed the bar exam. I passed the bar exam the first time. But what is a flashcard? It's a 3x5 card. You write the question out, then you write the answer on the back. And you just go through this rote after rote after rote, and eventually you're going to really learn it. It's obviously what's happening to these kids in Mississippi. Being able just to write out the question and write out the answer on the back is a real positive for these kids. But we're going to have to find out in our education system, how do we adopt that? And to me, this is something that you should have mandatory summer school for those kids who are not operating at grade level. And maybe you want to see how you inject phonics into the lower classes and how you put flashcards into the upper classes. Flashcards really work. They got me through both the CPA exam and the bar exam, and just for example, I passed the bar exam the first time I took it. But I had 2,000 flashcards. You went to Purdue?
Back to something that's old is new again. Phonics is the 70s when we did phonics.
Well, that's what the Mississippi used.
And then flashcards, we had those a lot in the 70s too. And yeah, you have the question and you have the answer, and your brain gets trained to understand the question and remember the question knowing what the answer is.
Yeah.
Works great.
Yeah.
So that's amazing that Mississippi, everything old is new again, that maybe you ought to go back to the foundation where things work.
They went from 49th to the upper half.
I mean, phonics was new back in the 70s, and it worked pretty good, so it helped people's reading skills, and flashcards always work.
Well, my question would be, do we have teachers that are trained to use the phonics system at the lower grade levels?
But I guarantee you have teachers that took phonics back in the 70s and the early 80s. And then I guess we stopped using phonics, using word relationships and reading skills. And now this is where we're at. I just thought we have flashcards. We used them, right? Index cards.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need those anymore.
They're 3x5 cards.
Oh, yeah, they're about that big.
Yeah.
So
they're a little wider.
My phone's smaller than most kids have. Most kids have bigger phones. But if you had digital flashcards, you think they'd flip over for you digitally. And you don't have to have pieces of paper. You can just again, I've talked about this many times. We have technology in our hands. I don't know why schools work very hard to make sure it's not in their hands, because they are going to use them, but make them use them. I make my students use them. Maybe you make your students use an app with digital flashcards.
Yeah.
It's right here. We don't have to, and we probably don't have to reinvent it. I guarantee you, as we're doing the show, that I could probably look up on the Play Store or Apple's store and find a digital flashcard app. Probably there.
Well, the value of it, now this is just my opinion, but I used them real heavily. The value of those flashcards is, first of all, you write out the question.
Yeah.
Then you go to the back and you write out the answer.
Yeah.
You're learning the English that's used in that particular situation. along with the answer to the
And I
question.
guarantee you there's an app that they could write out the answer and write out the question, and then it'll be a digital flashcard that flashes to them and they can know the answer.
Okay, all right, you guys are talking about flashcards. Let's put up a pretend flashcard. You have in front of you the Herald Dispatch.
Yeah?
Do you believe everything that you read?
Well,
Do you believe everything you read? Yes or no?
no.
No, okay. Indiana City's population as of 2025. What did you read in that Indiana, Michigan City's population is, City of Michigan City?
They didn't have it in there. They just said that 61% of households fall into one of the two categories, which is below the poverty level, or they are asset limited.
Good. As of December 17, 2024, the population of Michigan City was 31,659 people.
Does that count the prison or not?
This is according to whoever, Indiana Demographics, whoever created Indiana Demographics initiated this.
Well, right now, I'm thinking it's right around 30,000 without the prison.
Okay. We've got company. We're on the air right now. So we've got 31,600, and you said what percentage?
61%.
61%.
Well, I've got it at 18,000.
Around 18,000.
Yeah.
That are at or below the poverty level?
That are at or below the poverty law, or are income limited. Now, what they could mean by income limited is you've got a family of four, and let's say they make 45,000. Now, they might be above the poverty level, but because of the number of kids or because of physical disability or whatever, it costs a lot more, and so therefore they don't have the income to be able to support themselves.
Well, I'm leading up to something right now. Way back when Gary was a city of some substance.
Beautiful city.
Gary was a city of
Beautiful city.
some substance. Wasn't a issue? Now wait a minute. What I'm leading up to, focusing in on something here. Wasn't there an issue pertaining to sanitation that created disarray in that portion of Lake County that then Maryville was created from?
Well, it wasn't said.
Wasn't there a mayor of or a resident of Michigan City who then became mayor of the city of Gary? And wasn't sanitation, wasn't that an issue that pertained to white flight?
Just for your information, in law school I took a class from him. But yes,
I'm just saying, the groundwork in my mind with what I see going on in this town, basically is incorporating the unincorporated area of Cool Spring Township, and I see that area being its own little entity, of which I am a resident of Cool Spring Township. And if the sanitary district continues what they're pursuing right now, you know what the end result will be? Figure it out for
We are
yourself.
following in the footsteps of Gary.
That's correct.
And if you look at Gary, people left for numerous reasons, but they left and they went south.
Mm-hmm.
And as the city, and as
south is in South Lake County.
South Lake, wherever south, and they're still going south.
Yeah,
Why
Crown
were they
Point,
going? How do we
beautiful.
know they're going south? Oh, the West Lake corridor, where the South Shore is trying to extend out to get those people to now go back to Chicago
For $69 million.
for 69 minutes. No, so anyway, so if the Michigan City or any city, not just Michigan City, thinks that they can annex things and try to move people in their town, people will just continue moving south. That is a proven fact. As county surveyor, I sat on the development board for Northwest Indiana, and they passed a 2040 plan, and I was the one remonstrator, the one no vote, because they were so wrong. And they pretty much said I was wrong. Well, guess what? Who was right? Because people will just keep moving south. They're not going to put up with the mismanagement. They're not going to put up with the extra cost. They're not going to put up with the noise. They're not going to put up with the crime. They will move away. And that happens every time. So instead of trying to grab somebody outside yours, fix what you got.
And what the Michigan City not redevelopment, but planning and zoning, what they approved a new storm management project.
Okay.
They approved it without even reading
At
it.
the Plan Commission. And
Plan Commission.
they approved something which we, and I don't think anybody, other than maybe a very select few in City of LaPorte, City of Michigan City, and LaPorte County, we think this is what they're approving.
Well,
We don't know.
The city of LaPorte adopted their concept in last year.
But we don't know what it is. I understand they're approving this by title only. This right here is Purdue's, and Purdue's a very unbelievably good engineering technical university. They can get a little bit overzealous. This is double-sided. So this is actually twice the size. This is 170 pages. And if you would like to go through this, you will find things in there that are an administrative nightmare. And if this is what they're approving, because I haven't been able to get a hold of what they're approving. I don't know what that document is. I don't think they presented that to the Plan Commission on Tuesday night. I was there.
No, I didn't see
I
any.
was there before for the tire barn when we were trying to get that tire barn split into 2 lots because Ton and Blank now owns the mall, and maybe Ton and Blank would like a piece of the tire barn property because it's the parking lot. They got to go back again for another month. For what reason, I don't know. And that's the administrative nightmare, not just Michigan City. LaPorte City's great about it. LaPorte County's pretty good. I go to any other municipality. It is, to be nice, a nightmare.
But the planning in what I saw was planning and zoning with their blinders on approved this to be put into ordinance form and brought to the.
Well, you're going to bring that one up. The Michigan City Joint Zoning Ordinance.
I haven't
I
gotten
think
there
they
yet.
approved that. That was
Yeah.
300 and some pages that I don't believe nearly anyone. I read it in LaPorte County Surveyor so I could get rid of the nonsense. And LaPorte County chopped out a lot of that. But Michigan City and the City of LaPorte, I guess they trust their advisors to the nth degree, and so do legislators, and so do a lot of people in the government. They don't read what did Nancy Pelosi say about
There
the
were
health
no
bill.
question, no
You
questions.
can read it after we pass it.
Yeah, no questions whatsoever in regards to
No.
this. This,
If this is it,
Yeah.
we don't know what it is. I know they do.
What I have in my hand, it's a little bit
That is the
thinner.
law today.
That is the law today, and supposedly it was adopted in 2021. I guess every 5 years a new revised edition comes out.
You're supposed to update
Update
I think,
it somewhere.
every 15 years.
And in reading this storm management project, in reading the language here, the Michigan City Sanitary District doesn't even follow the language in the established, adopted ordinance.
How many pages is that?
Well, I've only got 20 pages.
Okay, and now we're going to go for 20. Are we going to 170? I mean, people who, in my professional world, this will raise the prices of your permits and your site development fees by 10, 20, 30 times. But we don't care. We get paid.
Yeah.
If it costs you, say it costs you $10,000 right now, and you have to do this book, well, it could be $100,000, and we don't know if you'll even get approved. But we don't care because we're getting paid. It's up to the municipality to make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and good luck.
I just see a area of concern on my part, not necessarily for me, but for the future of Michigan City and the future growth of Michigan City, that if you allow this to go to the city council and have an ordinance established on the amount of language that's in there without somebody scrutinizing what's in there, I see the end result as Michigan City is water runs uphill in Michigan City, doesn't it?
What do they call that when a train gets in trouble? A full stop. And this document, I don't know, again, I don't know if this is the document. If this is the document that the city is approving and municipalities are approving, this is available, type in Purdue Stormwater Model Ordinance and you will get this document. You can read it at your will. And I don't know if this is the document. I don't know what document they're approving. I don't know where it's posted online anywhere for anyone to read, let alone council members, plan commission members. Do they have a copy of it? I didn't see their packet when I was there. I don't know. But this is the document that every municipality in the city, in the counties in Indiana,
In the state of Indiana, yeah.
are thinking they're going to approve, because this is a very hard document to put together. It takes an immense amount of knowledge and time to put this document in. And kudos for Purdue for putting together the outline. But shame on us for not reading it.
Well, the question would be, if they read it, would they understand it?
And they probably wouldn't understand it. There is things in here that are hard to do, and probably over most people's head, even in the professional world.
Well, that's the ones you got to highlight. That's the ones you got to go back to Purdue and ask, how do we do this?
But if I take this document and I just take any page, they got these yellow things that says jurisdictional entity. They just want you to type in the name on this document. And we know we have some unbelievable AI, we have some unbelievable word programs that you just say, any place that says jurisdictional entity, insert Michigan City. And you will have a document that says Michigan City. And everyone working on these things, it's real simple, and Purdue knows this. The administrative people who love this stuff know this. They will just take this, insert their name, any place that says jurisdictional entity, hand it to the people that need to approve it, and say, this is really unbelievable. We need to pass this. Good luck.
Now, comparing this document to this simple piece of,
And this is only half the size. So if
Yeah,
this is
double.
really the size, double the size. This is 170 pages.
now, this section 20-.09, obstructions of drainage. Okay? The developer/owner, that's the Michigan City Sanitary District, shall not block, impede the flow, or alter construction, any structures depositing any material or objects, or commit any acts which shall affect normal or flood flow in any ditch, stream, or watercourse without having obtained prior approval of the jurisdictional authority pertaining to the City of Michigan City, or the City of Michigan City, or the City of LaPorte County, or LaPorte County Drainage Board. That spells it out simply, this one specific issue. But yet we have the sanitary district who's under this thin document, who this document provides marching orders to the sanitary district. They don't even comply with this thin document. How are they going to comply with that abortion right there?
And the other thing that I was looking for, this document holds the General Construction Stormwater Permit, MS4, Erosion Control, Rule 5, whatever you want to call it now, holds a chapter and verse in here. Here it is. Post-Construction Stormwater Quality Measurement Standards, Chapter 8. This chapter, I think somebody needs to pause.
How many pages is that?
Well, this is chapter 8. Then there's a whole other chapter about how you do things. But somebody needs to pause, because I understand there's a bill that was signed by the governor that goes into effect July 1st that I think would probably negate a lot of these things in this chapter, because it says, the bill says the General Construction Stormwater Permit, State of Indiana puts out its guidance, and I think, I don't remember, I think it's 47 pages alone, or 74 pages. That can only be done in its form, and nothing else more can be done by law. So, anything that's in this Chapter 8 and Chapter 9 is null and void per the new law that the governor signed and will go into effect on July 1. We need to pause and realize, I would hope the council would say, hold on, if they don't understand it, they can hire people they can hire people at the cost of the city
Go ahead. You and
to help them understand what's in here in an independent review. Now, maybe they could also ask the sanitary district what their review of this is, and not just say, well, did you read the document? I don't know if this is the document. No, I don't know what the document is.
Well, let me get my
but
two
before
cents
you, bottom line, you go back to what Bob initially talked about as far as the poverty rate of the City of Michigan City. And if we create documents such as
How's
this,
that going to help?
how is that going to help the city grow?
How does this help
How?
people
How?
who are below the poverty line?
Well, time out. Let me get my 2 cents
Good.
worth in. First of all, I'm not ready to hire a specialist to tell them. I'm ready to tell them, and I'm talking about the sanitary board, when you come up with stuff like this that you don't understand, you need to call down to Purdue and have Purdue explain it to you. Before you go hiring experts, you have to understand what you're trying to find an expert to do. And if you don't find out what that is from Purdue, you may not get the right expert. You probably won't. The sanitation board is going to have to do these things. They're going to have to deal with.
That's their charge.
Yeah. The expert engineer on the Michigan City Sanitary Board is under this particular document, and he doesn't even comply with it. He hasn't complied with it for the last 4 years.
At a minimum, I would expect the plan commission, and I would expect the mayor, and I would expect the council, if this was brought to me, whatever this is, to ask what are the costs involved for bringing and forcing developers to do this. Give me a cost that's going to be involved.
Once you have the answers to what this is all about, then you can find a consultant or somebody to develop the cost for you. Because you have to understand what they're developing.
Yeah, you're going to find, and I think most bills in the state of Indiana and the federal, they have the Congressional Budget Office.
Right.
Give them a cost analysis. If you enact this, what is it going to cost? That is the primary question, because if the costs are going to go up double, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times to adhere to this stormwater,
What impact will that have on
what will that
economic
affect on
development in the city of
economic
Michigan City?
development and
Yeah.
people that are poor? It's probably not good. Or maybe, best case scenario, the cost of this decreases the cost to get the entry into a new home or a new apartment complex or a new business or a new manufacturing facility. Maybe, I doubt it.
I don't have quite the same thought process that you guys do about people moving. I think what's going to happen if you do this is the value of houses in Michigan City will go up significantly, because people will say, okay, they're going to solve their drainage problems. This is going to be a great place to live. Now, who the hell is going to be able to afford it when those costs go up? We've got that situation going on right now where outsiders are coming in and buying up the houses. They're holding on to them for investments. Some of them are actually moving here, believe it or not. But a number of them are coming here on a part-time basis and then leaving and going back to wherever they're from. You will see more of that. It's only in Michigan City that I have ever seen, and I've only seen this in the last month, and I look for unusual things. We have a hamburger hot dog drive-thru that is now serving sushi. Now, when you stop and think about that, I have never seen that before. Now, maybe you guys have, but I haven't. And apparently, he's selling it.
Just recently, I received a letter from a realtor in Griffith, Indiana, offering me almost $120,000 for a specific piece of property that I own on the corner of Barker and Poplar.
Yeah.
A little shed, no offense meant to my tenants, but a little small house.
Yeah.
$120,000.
That's very common in Michigan City. They send out these things sight unseen. My wife owns a house, 215 West William Street. It was her parents. Our kids and our daughter and son-in-law live there. Every month she gets at least 3 offers. Some of them come in, here is a check. Take it down.
Yeah, I got those too, yeah.
Yeah, it's yours.
My question is, if we pass a document like this and we fix the stormwater problems, and there's where I start, the cost to fix the stormwater problems with these administrative rules, we cannot afford. And what I'm asking, because you went to a meeting at the sanitary, which I saw in Alco, and I happened to watch, and I happened to stay in the meeting, and an individual put forth a groundbreaking.
He did.
And I think the sanitary board was not happy that he let the cat out of the bag, that they are looking for $100 million to fix the sewer treatment plant. All right, so yes, we have these rules, and they could fix the stormwater. Can't afford it. How is Michigan City going to afford $100 million on some ground at 8th Street, just east of the Michigan Boulevard, which is prime ground, very high retail ground? We're going to sink another $100 million into that ground, and I don't know where you would put the sewer treatment plant, but somebody better consider not there.
Well, I got a place on the west side of town.
Well, that's
in my moraine.
That's just about what I was going to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
In my moraine that I've been.
I would say that's a place to start to look, but again, that ground, with hopefully the prison not being there, hopefully NIPSCO at someday gone, is more valuable than the ground that 8th Street is on.
Yeah.
More valuable than Long Beach. That ground will be more valuable probably late in my lifetime than any of us can imagine. I used to say $1 billion ground. It's probably $1 trillion ground.
Well, I would mostly agree with you, but the value of the land on 8th Street, the big value is where the Sprague Marina is on Michigan Boulevard, and then where the sanitary district is up 8th Street. That land is hugely valuable on a per parcel basis.
Oh, right now. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right now, today.
Yeah. On a per parcel basis, because of its access to Trail Creek.
Yeah.
That will probably be the most valuable
Yes.
land.
Now,
But remember, that's a very small
the
piece of
best
land.
ground you can think of that would be the best place for this, that wouldn't hurt anybody for the next 100, 200, 500 years, would be over west of the landfill. And Dave loves this because we'd have to pump everything up there. But that area over there, the landfill's already there. West of the landfill, not going to hurt anybody. The ground west of County Line Road is already environmental receivership and stored for forever. The outlet is a ditch that runs through Porter County to Burns Harbor. We'd have to pump everything uphill. But when you're looking at growth, Michigan City is going to be the west side and everything south of 94. There's your growth. You're not going to go to Springfield Township. You're not going to go down Highway 35. You're going down 421 south. And if we had a sewer treatment plant over there, that growth would blossom and maybe Michigan City would annex.
But yet in the city's mindset, in its current mindset, everything is going east.
Well,
Yeah.
Everything is going east because that's the easiest way out.
No, that's the path of least resistance because that's muscle memory. We've done it that way for 100 years.
Yep.
We're
Well,
going to keep
since
down
the
that
Depression,
path.
Since the Depression.
Since the Depression. So, well, it's almost 100 years.
Close.
1930s, we're almost at 100 years. Yeah, see, we just tend to do things that we're familiar with, and we're going to keep pushing east.
No, there's a big reason for that also. And I'm going to go north of 12. When you're going east, the big growth will come north of 12 toward New Buffalo. Not on the south side, on the north side, because of the closeness to the lake. and Michiana shores and those kind. Remember, you're going to get outside of Indiana, and you're going to start up into Michigan in this growth pattern.
I don't know if it's been talked about, the Sand District, but I do know it's not private, it is public information. The 94 rest area, right there, east of town, Port County, is going to add sewer. And I don't remember what road it's going to run down. I believe it's going to run down the extension of Tryon, and they're going to run sewer. So you're right. That the state of Indiana is going to bring sewer and I believe water all the way out to the rest area on 94. So that means that whole corridor, you're talking north of 12, north of the airport, will have access to sewer and water. And that will be a good growth area, but that is perched wetland. It's very hard to do because that water has wetlands and forested wetlands, which are the most protected species in America, and we should not be tearing down forested wetlands. It's hard to develop in those because we need to protect those. That is Springfield Township, spring-fed, wet areas.
Yeah, but the growth will be very expensive.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's why I say all your growth is going to come first the west side, easy, if we fix the stormwater, and everything south of 94 all the way up to Beatty's Corner, and you could probably go all the way down to Purdue campus.
I would like to find out if in this, if they talk about site design feasibility. Because there are points pertaining to topography, the maximum drainage area, the depth of public water table, the soil, the slopes, the terrain, and so on. I just wonder if this ordinance addresses all these issues in regards to site design.
This ordinance, and I don't know if this is Michigan City's, this ordinance tightens that down to infinitum. It's not just a general review. You have to do it. And if you don't, sorry, no development.
So this could be a roadblock.
Oh, this will be. I guarantee you, this will be a roadblock for any developer, anyone, and probably including your home, about achieving what's in this ordinance. If this is the ordinance. People are passing this without reading it, without understanding the gravity and the cost and the time to achieve this. It is a very good ordinance that is far and above anything we could ever develop, and I think it's far and above anything we need.
Who specifically authorized that document?
I don't know. I think LTAP, local. What is LTAP? Local Technical Assistance Program, State of Indiana.
For the
works
entire
with Purdue,
state.
for the whole state.
For
So
the
they
whole
put this together for the whole state. I do believe Purdue thought this was a guidance, not something you should just pass and just go. You ought to look at what specifically you need in your area and not accept everything for the whole state of Indiana.
Right.
But that's what we're doing, I think. I don't know.
Before we adjourn here, I would like to get my last comments in that I held
I'll
off
keep my mouth shut.
because I want to talk about what was the conclusion of them finding all this data out. Now, here is their conclusion. Nonprofits, government businesses, and individuals must come together to address the barriers Alice households face, from affordable housing to living wages. All you have to do is get our Economic Development Commission off their butts and working to get the kind of manufacturing jobs we need in here. And you will solve a lot of these problems. We have gone for years and years, and our manufacturing base has been totally hollowed out. We have a few, and that's fantastic. But we need at least one that's going to employ somewhere between 500 to 1,000 people at a minimum of $20 an hour, and you will find that this poverty rate will shrink significantly. We get 2 of them, and we're going to basically have about 20% or less of our population at the poverty rate, because we have to bring these in if we're going to be able to sustain a poor population. Other than that, for years and years, Michigan City was both manufacturing and recreation. We had the park down there in Washington Park. We had people coming here to spend time in cottages for 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes 2 or 3 days, in Sheridan Beach and a number of other places. We had great restaurants. In fact, we had 1 of 4 restaurants in Northwest Indiana that people wanted to go to eat fish. That happened to be Hirschman's Willard Seafood. There was another one in Whiting. Tebow's is still there in Cherville, and there was another one in Hammond. We were 1 of 4. People would drive in here in the wintertime to eat at Hirschman's.
Because manufacturing was the primary source of income in Michigan City, not the secondary. Now,
It's
recreation
secondary.
is secondary. It's primary and manufacturing is secondary. And you said a whole bunch there because you think the Redevelopment Commission, if something like this was coming out, they would say, hold on, please, pause. We do not want to put roadblocks up against people who would like to do manufacturing development in our town. Wait a minute. We need to make sure we're not strong-arming these people coming in town and hurting them. And I said it last week, and I found out that I was right. John Deere announced they were going to put more manufacturing in the United States, and they were not going to go to Mexico like they said, and they're going to spend $20 billion. They're not spending it here. We missed out on that boat. $20 billion. Some of it's going to Illinois and other manufacturing facilities they have, but they're not coming here. So again, I don't know how fast we can react, but we got to react faster because these people, with what's going on in the federal administration, you need to be on the phone 24 hours a day with them, because if they are thinking about spending billions of dollars, please look at Michigan City.
Now, let me throw something else out, because I think one of the problems we're going to have along with what Tony's talking about is the electricity rates. There is one part of our county that is in I&M, which is a subsidiary of AEP, American Electric Power. I&M works off of a nuclear facility. So they have pretty low rates for electricity. The rates for electricity are, in my opinion, relatively high. In the part of LaPorte County that's NIPSCO for electricity. Now, we're not talking about gas here. We're talking about electricity. The part of LaPorte County is relatively low if you go by all of the anecdotes that have been passed down for the last 30 years. If you are a manufacturing outfit, you want to get NIPSCO gas rates and I&M electric rates. And this is something that has got to be worked on. And this is part of our Economic Development Commission. We're going to get the tourist type stuff. We're going to get the condos. They're coming because of our location on the lake. That won't stop. They'll also move farther back. That won't stop either. What will stop is these people who have maybe 1 or 2 years of college or a high school graduation that could be trained to do a lot of the work that's going to be necessary if we get manufacturing and make a good salary. Otherwise, what you're going to see is more and more of these houses bought up in Michigan City. They're there for people who are worried about it's the situation in Chicago or other parts of Illinois or even as far down as Florida, and they buy a house just in case. In fact, I think I just sold one to somebody that's doing that. They're here maybe 4 weeks out of the year. But, okay, I got a fair price for it, so we had to do something about what we own because we were trying to cut it down a little bit so our kids wouldn't have a problem trying to handle our estate. But these things are going to happen. You have to make it so that the people who do the basic jobs can get the training they need. And if we have to go to that Mississippi situation of phonics and flashcards, the flashcards work. I can't talk about the phonics. I really can spell it, but that's it.
Phonics work.
But those flashcards got me through the CPA exam and through the bar exam. Bar exam first time.
Yeah.
Well, I would just want to,
No, give us your thoughts on
No,
this.
I want to talk about, today's the 30th, am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't this the final date that the You Are Beautiful property has to respond?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I believe the 30th was the date that the city of Michigan City gave to You Are Beautiful property to respond to the development on the solar
Yeah,
property.
it's called SOLA, S-O-L-A.
They wouldn't extend that, would they?
Well, my question is, I haven't heard of an
I
extension.
guarantee you they will extend.
But they're out trying to obtain financing. The Redevelopment Commission has tried to utilize some intricate things to help them obtain financing. And as of yet, I feel that the solar property is dead as far as I can see.
And if SOLA goes, Michigan City will look to build a new city hall. Last I remember, they were talking about $30 million, probably $45 million now. So now we're on the hook for $150 million, $100 million for the sanitary district, $50 million for a city hall, Michigan City. And the one thing that you were at the meeting, they're doing a rate analysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that means they're raising your rates.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Michigan City has to focus on getting people jobs and livable wages and retirement and health care before we move over to raising rates, building a new city hall, $100 million in the sanitary district. And what I really would like is some transparency. If you have a stormwater ordinance, put it on the internet. Let us look at it. Why are we not? Because what happened at the sanitary district, when that individual in public comment said $100 million, I guarantee you the sanitary district didn't want that word out.
And it goes back to Bob's concept of job creation.
Yes.
And if we continue to make new development too expensive on the front end
Or impossible
or
to even
impossible,
permit.
how then can you create new jobs when it's maybe through people might utilize Michigan City as a spec base, speculation. Investors could come into Michigan City and speculate on potential building rather than the city.
It's already happening.
Yeah. See, maybe that's an option, but let's open the door to make something happen. As it stands right now, from a roadblock to a roadblock to a roadblock.
The wage situation, not just in Michigan City and LaPorte County, but throughout the country, is with the people that have a high school diploma, maybe 1 or 2 years of college, but have the ability to read and do the math necessary that's going to enable them to be able to take the jobs in these manufacturing situations that are coming along. Now, the surveyor here will tell you that those are robots. I will tell you that they're mechanical arms. I was doing some,
Highly technical equipment.
yeah. I was doing a little more research. And you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've talked about the fact that there are only 4 aluminum smelters in the United States. I also found out there are only 2 copper smelters in the United States. These are 2 types of minerals that are going to be highly necessary in our economy. We have got to figure out how we get these smelters and putting those 2 smelters either into the Kingsbury Industrial Facility or somewhere in AEP where they can get better electric rates is going to be necessary, or we see what we can do to get AEP into the Kingsbury Ordinance
If
Plant.
you were thinking 20, 50 years down the road, an aluminum or a copper smelter needs 2 basic things: power and water. If they were going to try to entice one of those here, KIP or somewhere, they would already be in the mode to produce, installing a modular nuclear electric power facility to get the prices down. Because we have the water. I remember Mayor talked about it all the time. We have the water. LaPorte County is blessed with water. It's our electric that people need, and it takes a lot of electricity because they did it in Niagara Falls, right? They created electricity, generated off the falls, and that's why the aluminum smelters are up there, because they have water and cheap electricity. All we need is to produce electricity, not just for somebody like that, but for every manufacturing and for the people in Michigan City. If Michigan City had a low electric rate, I understand the town of Kingsford Heights is its own electric facility. Why isn't Michigan City? And we control our own destiny, and maybe we make our own power, and our power is 5 cents a kilowatt.
Or we buy it from I&M.
Or we buy it from I&M. Why don't we do that, and then we control our own destiny and entice more things? Bob has an article there from, he's not even looking at it, from the news, the Herald Dispatch. And it's coming up, just this week it came up, that you gotta be very weird. It's a victim of fraud. People, I'm changing the subject here, but be very weary. Don't trust anything on the phone or on a computer. AI and technology has the ability to, they just duped the White House by copying someone's voice and got into some information, because AI and the people that can use it for nefarious activities can make it sound like your brother, your father, your mother. Don't buy into it. You might pick up that phone and they might even dupe the phone number for your loved one. And it sounds just like them. We're in a very, very careful time right here, because things can happen, and they just did it to the White House. AI is very good. It can do positive things, but it can be very dangerous. So I don't know what to tell you. If somebody's trying to get in your bank account or get in your computer and they say you're your brother, you better be careful.
Just recently, Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel had an agreement to merge.
Yes.
They still do.
And
A
it's
partnership
A
now.
partnership now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily an acquisition,
Right.
but a partnership. And you just wonder what impact that is going to have on here in Northwest Indiana.
We hope, and I'm not that big of a steel person, but I have enough friends in steel mills. We hope that this partnership will bring some new technology to the steel mills, and we get rid of this old World War I technology and produce steel faster, cheaper, more environmentally friendly.
Now,
That's what we're looking
the
for.
old coke ovens out at Bethlehem
Yeah,
Steel.
if you drive down 94 at dusk or at night, you can see them burning gases out of their smoke. And that's probably not an environmentally good thing, but those are the furnaces we have. And maybe we need this partnership to give us that.
Now I have to go back to the 1950s. My dad, his buddies, when they would drive through Gary and you'd see these huge plumes of orange smoke,
Oh, man.
what did they think? They're working. Remember, the Depression, these guys didn't have jobs. That to them was fantastic.
It is, when you drive down 94 and see these, it's really a sight to see, and it's kind of scary. These, if I can see them from 94, can you imagine the heat and the height of these plumes coming out when you're down there? And so, thanks to all steel mill workers who are willing to work in that, because that is not something that any regular person can handle.
Yeah, watching the dross come out, these guys in the silver asbestos suits
Oh, the ingots,
Oh,
red
when
hot
they-
ingots.
This is the actual flow. I saw the actual flow of this molten metal coming down the chute, and guys working to scrape the slag off. I mean,
Well, that's what we hope this partnership brings. The ability to upgrade the mills and everything they have to keep producing steel, which we need. Better steel, cheaper, less human interaction, safer, and more environmentally friendly. I think that's what we're looking for. And we hope that goes. But if we can't get the living wage up in Michigan City, I don't know why we would chase anything except that, especially through education.
Well, there's only going to be a few of them that are able to do this. The route up, if this continues, is through the trades. Journeyman electrician, plumber, these types of situations. But you're going to have to go through a lot of training. You're going to have some type of an ability with math before you can even start to pass the test to get into it. But that is one route up.
well, isn't that what Trump wants to do? Is take the money away from Harvard?
Yeah.
And put it back into the
Yeah,
trades,
yeah.
into trade schools.
Well, we could use more tradespeople here in LaPorte County. When they had to go outside to hire 800 people
Yeah.
to work at new prison out at Westville, my gosh, look what that would do for LaPorte County in terms of people being able to buy a house and support themselves.
And Amazon,
Yeah.
and the battery factory. Those are all people coming from out of town that we don't have the skill set.
Well, next time we can talk about this. County could see more data centers. Now the idea is they're going to appoint a committee. And when I counted it up, they had 9 people and they still were missing a couple. So we can talk about this the next time. But this is one of our ways up. Now the reason it's up is because they will hire about 100 to 150 highly trained people. But the taxes they pay, which would be huge for the school system.
The
would be-
data centers are under the umbrella of AI.
Yeah, well, they create the electricity. Well, they would need to create the electricity to run AI. And, yeah.
It's a before market rather than the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
market then.
Yeah,
Yeah, AI needs the electricity to run itself.
yeah. There you go.
Now, I think data centers are, I think they're the quickest hit right now, but I think what you really need to look at is batteries, because you won't be able to make enough batteries for the next 50 years. Data centers are the quick hit because as technology and programming and things get smarter and quicker and faster and chips get better and cooler and run less energy, you need less people and you need less battery data centers. The algorithms are going to get better and better and better because AI will start developing its own algorithms and be smarter, faster, cheaper, less power. Batteries are physical, which the trades are, we know you always win when you talk about physical things. Electricity, HVAC, plumbing, construction, steel mills, those are physical things that buy us the ability to have workers who get paid a good rate.
Well, the involvement of the city of Michigan City as far as building housing, could that be one of the ways that the city then could contribute to the future development of these data centers by providing a place for these people to live who work in
But
these?
data centers don't have that many employees.
They don't?
No, I'm
very
going to
few.
give you a thought process. Jobs first, then houses. You got to get the jobs in here first so that the people can go to work in them that can afford to buy these houses. Because if you just look out there on Paz Avenue, I think they had a sign up. Housing starting at $299,000.
Yeah, 300,000.
300. Oh, I had 299. Okay.
Starting.
Starting, yeah.
Starting price.
Starting at, yeah.
And if you go out Tryon Road by the old, what was that, Neiman School, and that development that's been there since 2008, they're saying the same thing, houses 250, 300. I don't know who, sorry folks, I can't afford a $300,000 house.
So then by the city of Michigan
Oh,
City,
it's tough to do that.
yeah, for the city of Michigan City putting a majority of its eggs into the housing basket, could they
Jobs
find a different? That's right. Could they address a different situation?
Yeah, if you get the jobs in here, sure. You want the people that can buy those.
But who's the responsible party that's initiating home ownership and so on in Michigan City if it isn't the redevelopment commission?
Yeah, it is,
Well,
Priority-wise, they're
economic development.
yeah,
Commission, they're the
economic
ones that
development. Yeah,
got
priority-wise,
Yeah.
Yeah, are they focusing on housing instead of focusing on jobs?
Yeah.
Jobs will come.
Does that make sense?
Recreation will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that make
Housing.
sense?
Jobs need,
Yeah.
you know, houses will come, recreation will come. Jobs need to be worked at
Yeah.
to even get them.
And just for everybody to think about, we had recreation and manufacturing. They worked together for over 100 years. But if you really want to take a look at that situation, look at Las Vegas. The untold story about Las Vegas is they have quite a few different manufacturing companies in the chip area. Who uses all those chips? The casinos. If we get a couple of casinos, maybe we could get 2 or 3 chip manufacturers like Intel, and you don't have to have the latest up-to-date chip. You only have to have 3rd or 4th generation back to take care of the slot machines.
So am I to then agree that my issue is very low and slow and not one of the top priorities as far as economic development missions? Are you basically saying that?
Well, yes, but maybe no. Now, here's the part about no. I do not recommend that you do this. But the night the casino has a slot machine that's going to kick out more than $1 million, you probably want to take your $2 down there and see if you can hit it.
$2? We're down to 2 minutes.
That would help with all of this stuff you want to do.
I think your focus is right. It's going to be very hard and an uphill battle.
Well,
But if you don't have the water taken care of, you can't have development.
you guys.
That's right. That's my point.
Yeah, well, yeah, but if you don't have the money, you can't have the
And if you don't have the money, you can't do it.
Well, okay, and the old adage, what came first, the chicken or the egg? So who knows? We're down to 1 minute, Andy?
No, the money came first.
If you don't have the money, so Michigan City is going to be a tight budget year because of the state, and let alone what's going to happen if we have to redo the sanitary sewer treatment plant.
Don't forget, June the 5th, Michigan City Municipal Band will have their first concert of the 157th season. Hopefully, our viewing audience will attend. Hopefully, the weather is nice enough to get out there, and it's free, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a good diversion from what we've been talking about for the last hour. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvements or criticism greatly appreciated. Please contact Show's Tribe co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Bila, or Tony Hendricks with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, and Dave at djbila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailagm@yahoo.com. Or you may direct your ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. Showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., followed by Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. and numerous times throughout the viewing week when Andy gets some dead air and you want to listen to us badger along. You may also enjoy our program by watching our show on YouTube, Navigate News and Views, or you can punch in 99 Navigates News and Views. I want to thank everybody for watching, and make it a good day.